other ways, and I think this is an example of that. I mean, in terms of the second part of the question, the players and that sort of recovery and that sort of thing, I mean, the obvious one is Naby Keita, isn't it? I think the most number of starts he's ever strung to get together for Liverpool is 4. I don't think he's ever managed, 5 starts in a row for Liverpool in his entire time at the club. And it's a real strange one. I think, if he wasn't so talented, he probably would have left the club by now already. But every single time you see him play, you realise why they just keep persevering with him, keep hoping that, his luck turns. And I do think he's been incredibly unfortunate. If you look at his time with RB Leipzig, and even before that, he had no injury history. There's nothing that Liverpool could have done before they signed him to say that, he would have injuries in future. I mean, they'd done all of the analysis on his entire career. They tracked him since, before he played for Leipzig. They tracked him as soon as he came to Europe. They had all of that data. They had all of, the sort of medical side of things. And the only thing that I can think of that has changed for Keita is that maybe the Premier League is just that slightly bit more physical and slightly bit more demanding than the Bundesliga, because nothing else has changed. The way that he trains, the diet, that sort of thing, the recovery is all absolutely elite. It works superbly for someone like Mohamed Salah, who I think has only ever missed 2 Liverpool matches through injury in his entire time. He's been at Liverpool longer than Naby Keita. So I just think it's an unfortunate case, and that, as I say, the only difference really between Leipzig and Liverpool that I can think of is that we do play more games in England. We have more teams in the top flight. We have an extra cup competition. We have so many matches back to back to back. We don't have any winter break, or we had a winter break for the first time last season. Then obviously this season COVID has stopped that taking place. So it's just one of those things that I think, Liverpool 99% of the time have got it spot on. I think Naby Keita really is the only one that you could look at and say, the jury is still out on whether he will be at Liverpool long term. But the only thing I would say in terms of Keita is that we are very quickly going to find out what Liverpool really think of him long term, because I think he'll have 2 years left on his contract at the end of this season. That's kind of the time when you would imagine that if they want to keep him, they want him to stay, they'll be offering him a new deal with improved terms and a long-term contract. So I think it'll be really interesting to see whether or not that happens at the end of this season, because if it doesn't, you'd wonder whether if an offer came in from somewhere, they might look to cash in.